guys, this is Coach KP, and today I'm going to talk to you about the 3 stages of self-love. And these stages are some things that I have experienced in my life, and I wanted to share this out to you today because I have personally seen my potential oozing out of me with so much gusto once I truly started walking this path that I think it's ought to be shared. Most of what I write, most of what I present to you, all of this is really my attempt to give to you what I have received from years of searching. This is really distilled knowledge, and I'm so happy to present this to you today. Okay, so let's go into this a little bit. When I talk about the various stages of self-love in this video today, I want to be clear that none of these stages that I talk about are to be seen as bad or good. And it is to be understood that sometimes we swing between all 3 stages as we go in our journey, because life is not as linear as some folks like to think, right? Life is it's an unfolding process. Sometimes you get triggered by this, sometimes something else happens to you, like coronavirus, that you cannot control. So what I'm saying is these stages aren't necessarily set in stone until we reach the 3rd stage, where self-love becomes really second nature. And until we get to that point, it's okay to be exactly where we are. So this video is not meant for folks to really beat themselves up over, okay? So you watch this video and you realize that, let's say you're on stage 1, that's exactly perfect for where you are in your journey. There is no need to get to stage 3 in a hurry. And if you are someone in stage 3, that's just all it means is you're in stage 3 and your journey is still unfolding, because every state of being has a potential where we can level up. And that doesn't mean that the current stage we are in is bad or inferior to this other stage, okay? It's all necessary for our growth. All right, so let's dig right in. The 1st stage of self-love. 1st stage of self-love, we begin to recognize that we do not love ourselves, okay? So it's like the awakening process where we start to realize that we have been living our life as a victim until this point, and then there is anger and sadness towards the current state. There is also a compulsive desire to change, and mark this, compulsive desire to change, okay? And in later stages this evolves, but the 1st stage is where the pendulum swings the other way. So from not loving yourself at all and kind of just doing things to please everyone else, or doing things based out of conditioning, what happens is the pendulum swings the other way, where there is a lot of anxiety and it's sort of a rocky start, as we often blame ourselves for not seeing certain things in the past, or blame others for where we are today, okay? It's a little bit of a victim situation going on in this 1st stage, and we are starting to now pay attention to our mental and our physical health, because we're reading things and we're realizing that, hey, there is so much work to be done. So it's kind of a volatile, sort of a sad, angry situation in the 1st stage, okay? And it's totally okay to be there, is what I'm saying to you in this video. Is it's okay to be where we are at any given point, okay? No one needs to build Rome by tomorrow. All right, so let's go on to the 2nd stage of self-love. 2nd stage of self-love is an understanding that we are no longer a victim of anything. Okay, so from the victim standpoint and blaming yourself and blaming others, now we move on to an understanding that we are no longer a victim of anything or anyone, and that there is so much joy in just being who we are. Okay, we are starting to see why certain things that would bother us previously no longer bother us, okay? And we start to feel sort of this magical beingness where we are so in tune with our surroundings. We start to see that. And yet there is this desire to change quickly still present in this 2nd stage, okay? So there's this restlessness, okay, that change is not happening fast enough. Oh, what do? I read this book, that book. I listen to Eckhart Tolle and Tony Robbins and Coach KP, and all of these things are happening, right? So we are really in this kind of a little bit of a frenzy to grow quickly. This stage is also marked by comparison, right? We are comparing ourselves with wanting to be like some of our role models, and that's not happening quick enough. So we are really running in this stage, and it's a fantastic stage to be in, because this is where we are consuming material that's really good for us, okay? And there is certain amount of stress in this level. There's periods of isolation because we start clashing with our surroundings. The people that we've always hung out with, they no longer start to understand us, because now we've shifted and we're talking about esoteric concepts to change a life. People start waking up early in the morning, for example. Small change, right? But that means you can't go out and party every single night when you have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Maybe you're starting a meditation practice, right? So these are all the things that are happening on the second stage. At this stage, we also begin to value the need for financial independence, maybe first time in our lives, and wealth creation, okay? So we start to think about all these ways to make money, okay? Now we have discovered at this stage that there is infinite potential. Now we start to see this, that, wow, I was at this stage last year where mentally I did not feel that I was capable of this, but now I'm not only capable of achieving my goal from last year, but I've already surpassed it. Now I want to get to the next thing. We have discovered this inherent power of being, and we are starting to exercise it. And the thing that really kind of marks this second stage is kind of the dichotomy where you are stressed out because we are still striving to get somewhere, but at the same time there's a sense of peace and serenity that's starting to come up, and we're starting to realize that, what, ultimately things will work out. All right, so now let's get to the third stage of self-love. In the third stage of self-love, the pendulum now begins to come to the balance, okay? When we are situated in this stage of self-love, we start to unconditionally stand for who we are and what we value as our reality, okay? There is no me against the world mindset like the first stage. First stage is a lot of me against the world. We're still trying to go against certain things, but in this stage the peace is inherent. It comes from inside of us. There's no external thing that's influencing good or bad decisions that we make for us, okay? In this stage, we are opening up ourselves. We are asking people for help. We are open to doing that, okay? That's a very strong sign that we're in the third stage, where we are asking for help, knowing that relying on others is okay, because we are rooted in the understanding of who we are and what we bring to the table, and we would do the same for somebody else, because everybody's bringing different gifts into the planet, and it's really okay to rely on others because we are open to others relying on us as well. At this stage, striving for anything stops. This does not mean that we stop to work and we become a vegetable. That's not what this means. But what it means is that you start to do things that align with who you are at the core. All right. So regardless of what benefit you may get tangibly from this work, we are so aligned to this work that we would much rather be doing this than anything else, regardless of the outcome. Okay, so that's what starts to happen to us when we really, really start to love ourselves, love our existence, love who we are. And at this stage, we begin to value the fact that having a sound mind, body, and soul is essential for us in our journey. Okay, so in stage 2, there's still, we still value this, but we may beat ourselves up for missing 2 days of meditation in a row. But at the third stage of self-love, we know that this is a lifestyle, and you may miss 2 days of meditation, but you're still there for yourself. You still love yourself. knowing that you will pick it up on the third day. All blame stops at this stage, blame externally and internally, and we come to a peaceful state that whatever we choose to do at this time is done out of love versus being done out of fear or done out of hatred or done out of this fear of missing out. So those are the 3 stages of self-love that I have experienced in my life, and I know a lot of people that I have worked with have experienced similar things. I would love to know what you have experienced in your self-love journey, and how do you keep your vibrations up every day in terms of your self-love? How do you do that? Comment on the comment section below. This is Coach KP. Peace.